So I welcome you all to the third live session of this course titled Applied Positive Psychology.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. So this is the last live session for this course because after this you are going to have your examination on 24th October, I guess. So this is here you have opportunity to ask any question if you would like to ask. So I have not received any specific questions in the Google Sheet, but you can ask any question in the live mode also. There's a chat box also in the YouTube link. You can write your question also, or you can directly ask also.
So, can I ask a question?
Yeah, sure.
Santosh here. So, unluckily, I missed your first two live sessions, but I think at least happy that I am able to join this. So, positive psychology overall, the way the topic you have explained is excellent, and I want to further study this topic. Can you guide us on that part?
Right. When you want to further read about this, like, are you want to make it as a kind of career, or you want to just curious about this subject? In what sense?
I am interested to take it further. Maybe if I get an opportunity to get into PhD, that is what I will try. And definitely I have to implement it while doing the counseling.
You are a counselor?
I have started doing it.
Psychiatrist?
Psychologist.
Psychologist, okay. So I think, see, there are many ways to, if you're interested in this subject, there are many ways to kind of, expand your knowledge. So courses like this can be helpful. There are, obviously, there are many textbooks also available which are very good in this subject. Now, many new textbooks are also coming. Just to get the initial basic knowledge about it. So some of these textbooks that I have listed in the course, if you see the course curriculum, syllabus, some of this course textbook you can start with, in order to understand the basics of this course about positive psychology. Now, if you want to go deeper into particular, because positive psychology has many topics, if you want to go deeper into, let's say, how to use positive psychology in the counseling, then probably you need to focus on that aspect.
Correct.
Basic knowledge of all the concepts of positive psychology will be very helpful because all these concepts can be applied in the different fields. As I already said, positive psychology is more like an approach rather than a particular subdiscipline. So in an approach, when I say something is an approach, the basic idea is that, this is a way of looking at things. So you can use positive psychology in personality to understand personality. You can use positive psychology to understand social psychology. You can use positive psychology to understand or get better ideas about clinical psychology, counseling, and so on. So it can very interestingly integrate into the different other subdisciplines of psychology. So in that sense, it is not a very specific subdiscipline as such. It is more of an approach which can be integrated into any branch of psychology. So you can use positive psychology, you can use integrate positive psychology, clinical psychology, organizational behavior, and so on. So last 3-4 modules are actually showing that only. If you see,
yes,
look at the last 3-4 modules, I have specifically discussed how all these concepts, some of these basic ideas can be implemented into, let's say, workplace, in the clinical psychology, in the relationships, and so on. So it is more like an approach. So if you are interested, let's say, in counseling, so probably you can that particular module where I discuss, I think the last module is about counseling.
Yes.
There you will get some ideas, some of the models I have discussed. You can just go deeper into it. You can read more about it. If you want more specific texts and research article, probably you can write me a mail also. I can help you with that also. But the idea is get basic ideas about all these ideas and then see how it can be used in the different context, because most of these ideas can be used in the different context. So you have to see how can I use positive psychology into clinical psychology while counseling. It has a lot of scopes. So because these strength-based perspectives are becoming very popular in counseling and so on, and in this coaching businesses and so on. But we should always remember when we talk about positive psychology, we should not like neglect the negative side of human behavior. Like there is a reality of negative emotion, there is a reality of anger, there is a reality of the negative side of human behavior. So when people talk about positive psychology, they think that we should always like we should not talk about those negative things, only talk about positive things. That is not the basic idea of positive psychology. Positive psychology has always been focusing on that. It is already understood that all these negative sides of human behavior, there is a dark side, there is a lot of negative emotions. All this has their important place they have their importance. And that is the basic nature of human being. They will express all these things. No one is denying that. Only thing is that when all these negative emotions and other things becomes too much, then it becomes a problem. Like the balance of our life get disturbed. So that is where positive psychology plays important role, because psychology as a subject has been focusing more into those
areas,
negative emotions, psychological disorders, how to treat disorders. Too much of that has gone into psychology because of the need of the time. A lot of funding was going in that direction. A lot of wars have happened. After every war, so many soldiers were having PTSD symptoms and so on, and people having a lot of psychological disorders, psychosis, neurosis, and all these things were. So there was a practical need for funding going into that direction and understanding more about disorder and how to treat disorder. It is understandable. But what is happening because of all this focus in the negative dimensions, positive aspects of human behavior, which is also a reality, people have completely overlooked it. I will not say completely, but to a large extent it was overlooked. And because of that, I think positive psychology is trying to make balance of it. So they're saying, let us look into these aspects also, because that is also an important functions and reality of human beings. Humans are not just bundle of negative emotions and dark side. There are many bright side also. There are many people are creative, people show a lot of strength in the adversities and so on. So let us scientifically look into that dimensions. So a lot of these concepts were mostly discussed in the philosophies, and so in that context, research perspective, these are relatively new in the psychological perspective. So like happiness, like concept of happiness, this has been mostly focused in the philosophies and so on. Philosophers have been talking about happiness and so on, but psychologists were not really looking into these concepts. So in that sense, it gives a fresh perspective, which has its own utility. But we should always remember, human beings have both the realities. So in order to make balance of it, based on the need of the situation, as a counselor, probably wherever it is needed, you can use positive psychology concepts, but not blindly. Like you should look at the context of the person.
Sure.
So that last module will give you some idea what kind of model you should use. Like when you diagnose a person, what should be the focus? When you treat a person, apart from this disorder, how can positive psychology can be integrated? So that last module has, I think, discussed very elaborately on that.
Yes.
Beyond that, if you're interested, probably you can write me also. I can guide you with other materials also.
Sure.
Sir, I have one question, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. This course is very, very useful to us in practical life also. I am a counselor and UG's net qualified. I'm doing positive psychology related courses in NPTEL, basically soft skills, life skills, mental health and adjustment, mental health and psychiatry. Certain courses I have done. This is very useful, sir, for the counselor. My question here is, according to one survey given by you, explained by you, the meaning of life is the list of items from the options given. Majority of the people opted family. In family, they find the meaning of life. That is what it was mentioned. And in the course you have given at the school or learning place, and the second one is workplace. But about the family also, one small module, if you add it, may be useful to many people.
Okay, thank you, sir, for your feedback. Yeah, so I think I talked not family specifically, but in the relationship module, I talked about how it is important. So I think broadly I talked about it, but but when you talk about relationship, obviously the family is the most important part of relationship. So we derive our meaning of life, happiness of our life, mostly, family is one of the most important aspects for most of the people. So I discussed that module on how relationship aspects, positive psychology can be integrated, and probably what you were saying is right. And within all the relationship context, family is most important. And a lot of people find their major source of meaning and happiness in their life probably from the dynamics of the relationship within the family and so on. So I agree. Obviously, family is very important for, which gives the sense of meaning in life in both the sense, in a sense, like when you say happiness as a concept also, let's say we talk about happiness. So family gives, emotional context also. It gives a lot of, emotional well-being. It also gives a lot of eudaimotic sense of well-being. It gives you purpose. Family also gives you purpose to live and not do something and so on. So in the context of well-being also, family plays very important role in the context of meaning in life, which is also an important part of eudaimotic aspects of well-being, which also largely derive from the family context also. A lot of people who do a lot of great works in the various aspects of their life, many times they get their motivation from their family also. Like if you see a lot of freedom fighters, like, they also said it is the mother who, like gave them or encouraged them to go and, do something for the country and so on. So in that sense, obviously family can give you a lot of, all the initial learning that we get is only from the family only. Initial foundational psychological makeup that we have is actually coming from the family only. Then obviously school plays a role, then society plays a role, and so, but the foundation is always family. You're right. So I might not have talked very specifically about family, but relationship in a broader context I talked about it. But probably maybe more needs to be said in that direction also. Yes, I agree.
Family is a dynamic aspect, and parenting and subsequent problems with the other issues. Okay, you have all the Ainsworth attachment, other things also you dealt there.
Yeah.
Useful, no doubt they are useful, sir. Sir, another question is, can you please distinguish between the meaning of life and meaning in life and purpose of life?
So meaning in life, when we talk about is in psychology, or particularly in the positive psychology context, is a broader term, which has three dimensions. One is purpose in life. So when you talk about purpose, it is more specifically in the positive psychology, it talks about like some future-oriented goal you have that gives you purpose. So purpose is more motivational component, more future-oriented component. So meaning in life can have other dimensions also apart from this. Another dimension is like comprehensibility. Comprehensibility means, does your life make sense? Are you able to make sense of your life? So if you see the first lecture on meaning in life, I have talked about these three dimensions, elaborately. Yes. So one is purpose. Purpose is many times in layman context, purpose and meaning in life are synonymously used. Yes. But in the technical context, meaning in life is broader context. Under the meaning in life, there is one dimension called purpose. And purpose is more specifically about when you have a goal, future goal in life, and that gives you a sense of direction in your life. So that is your purpose in life. But in layman context, purpose and meaning in life are actually very synonymously used. But technically, it is one of the dimensions of meaning in life. Meaning in life may not just come from the purpose; it may come from the the comprehensibility of your life. Are you able to make sense of your life? For example, when something goes wrong in our life, some adversity happens, some traumatic event happens, then in that context, most of the time, this sense of comprehensibility somehow gets for the temporary. We are not able to make sense of what is happening in my life. You ask question, why this is happening to my life? And you are not able to make sense of everything. So life becomes chaotic. In that moment, your meaning in life is kind of disturbed. So our meaning in life becomes much more like enhanced when our life is more coherent. You are able to make sense. You are more clear, in control. You want to say, okay, this is the thing I'm doing, and these are the things that I want to do. So there is a sense of comprehensibility when things are in order. Your meaning of life is much higher. So that also gives a sense of meaning in life. Meaning in life also comes from the sense of significance or sense of self-esteem that you have. Do you feel that your life is significant? Do you feel you are contributing something to your life. Like many times, so it can be very subjective. Others may feel you are not doing anything, but you may feel my life is significant because I am doing what I need to do. So in your mind, your life is significant. But many times it may happen that, people, for example, like people with depression, one of the things that happens is that their sense of significance in life almost, vanishes from their life. They don't feel their life is significant. So one of the outcome of that could be depression and so on. So many meaning in life may also come from the sense of significance that we feel our life is significant. I'm doing something worthwhile in my life. So meaning can come from that also. So purpose of life is one dimension. Meaning, comprehensibility, so significance of your life. How do you perceive? So it's all subjective. Do you think your life is significant? Do you value your life? Do you feel your life is worthwhile? That gives us meaning in life. When you feel your life is coherent, manageable, like order, then your life also, meaning also increases in your life. So purpose, comprehensibility, significance, all these are dimensions of meaning in life. So purpose is one of the dimensions in a technical sense. But in a general day-to-day context, you can say purpose and meaning in life can be synonymously used. But in positive psychology, meaning in life is a much more broader context.
Another question, sir. In the hope there is agency, no, sir. Another one is efficiency. Then what is the difference between self-efficacy and the agency part of hope?
So self-efficacy, when we say, it's a very general term.
Domain oriented.
Basically, it means when you have it's a very layman term, we can say the sense of confidence that you have. And it can be very, very specific context-wise. So self-efficacy is not very general. You can have high self-efficacy in, let's say, academics. You may have very low self-efficacy in the context of, let's say, sports. So it is very generally very domain-specific concept, self-efficacy. So self-efficacy as a concept is basically means how confident you are that you will be able to do something in a particular context. So the higher that sense, the more self-efficacy you have.
In agency, sir. Another one is in the there is in the hope there are two things. One is the agency and the pathways. In agency also we find similar meaning of self-efficacy. What is the difference between agency and self-efficacy?
So hope as a construct, how it is like conceptualized, they are saying. So it has two important things is like how much agency in a sense. One is pathway. Do you have a proper plan to achieve a goal? So most hope are mostly conceptualized in the context of certain goals. Are you hopeful about achieving something or not? So one is what if you have a pathway to reach there, obviously you will be more hopeful. Another is your willpower. In that sense, we are talking about, are you motivated enough to reach there? So that's your agency part of it. So if you have both of these aspects are higher, that means you are more likely to be more hopeful in that context. So like these are like different components that creates hope in you. So that is like one of the ways of looking at hope, theoretically speaking. Like hope is not like optimism as a concept is like, you can be optimistic without any context. I feel my future will be bright, but you may not have any plan how it can be bright. So hope is very, very specific, So hope as a concept has much more practical relevance in our life. So when you are hopeful, it is not out of like your own thinking, it is not just based on thinking. Hope comes from when you have a very, you see there is a very concrete plan that I can follow and achieve something. And obviously you should have a willpower or agency power to go there. Without that, obviously you will not be able to achieve the sense of hope that you are talking about. So optimism can be without any plan, but hopeful generally requires you to have a specific pathways to reach there and so on, and the willpower to go there. So in that sense, hope as a concept is more dynamic and more it has much more utility in our life. Optimism can be just a very psychological thing. You are optimistic about something, but it may be out of vein. No, there may not be any substance to it. So many times optimism, over optimism, or it can be an illusory kind of thing. You are just optimistic, but nothing is happening. So hope is more practical in that context, where you have a specific pathways to reach there and so on. So in that sense, agency aspects like willpower aspects and the pathway aspects both contributes to our hope. So it is like, you can say technically one way to define it. And so
why I ask this question is, one of the questions in our assignment is misleading, sir. There, it is giving a pathway as well as self-efficacy, a combination of two are given. But more suitable is rather agency, and the word is used instead of using determination, or it was given the confidence. That's why I asked this question.
Right. Okay, so I think few questions also are written in the YouTube also, YouTube chat box. So someone is asking what kind of questions will be asked during exam. So as I said earlier also, the questions will be only MCQ type of questions very similar to the assignment type of question, but don't think all assignment question will come there, no. There will be different other types of questions also, but all will be multiple choice questions. So there will be 4 options, you will have to choose one. So that will be the format, and try to go through all the modules, because questions will come from all the modules. So don't think, no, let me just miss some modules and study some modules. So, but questions will be coming from all the modules. So go through this lecture notes, and for clarification, you can go to video lectures. That will be good enough to prepare for good enough material for preparation.
Sir, how many number of questions could be there?
I think there will be 50 questions.
Sir.
So someone also says, Professor Amit, attachment theory, can the style be changed completely? I mean, feeling secured completely. So attachment theory, I think I have already discussed in the lecture also that, there are the different styles of attachment, like, secure attachment, insecure attachment, and so on. Most of these attachment style, in the formative years of our life during childhood, they kind of concretized in our way of how do we kind of emotionally react to situations and so on. So when something becomes more stronger, or when we form certain type of styles or certain traits from the childhood period, generally they become much more stable. So that is why a lot of these personality characteristics gets, we already kind of get a lot of this personality from the beginning, some of the formative years, like 6-7 years and so on. So at that time, the learning becomes very important. Whatever we learn, it becomes very deep in our mind, in our behavioral pattern and so on. So a lot of these attachment style also are like this. So they become, generally a lot of these attachment styles gets developed during the formative year or initial, few initial years of our life. So they can influence your adult life also. But having said then, human beings, nothing is like permanent or set on stone that cannot be changed. We can never say anything like this, that it cannot be changed. So many times people also change, a lot of these patterns also change when they become adult based on their experiences in the environment. But when some things we acquire from our childhood, it is very difficult to change it. So that is the only thing. We are never saying nothing is impossible in the human context. We can always do and change anything that we want. Like a lot of these personality traits, we define them as a relatively permanent characteristics. Why you are saying relatively permanent? Because they don't change often. When you have a certain type of personality trait you develop from your childhood, or because of some genetic predisposition, whatever it is so easy to change. But we can never say that it cannot be changed. So that is the main message we should get, that it is always possible to change all the deep-rooted behavioral patterns also, but it may take time. Dipakshi is asking, thank you, sir, for your insightful quotes. Thank you, Dipakshi. Coming from the English literature background, I joined to better help my students navigate today's challenges. You have enriched my teaching and their lives. Thank you, Dipakshi. I'm happy that you got some benefits out of this course. So that is why I already said in the in the introduction lecture also, this course is not just for psychology students. These are like very general concepts. All these concepts are, we use all this in day-to-day life on a daily basis. So there is nothing too much of technical about it. These are like very simple concepts we all can understand and apply them. There is some other questions. Good evening, sir. Where will the examination be conducted? Will it be allotted a center or provided with a loan? So I think the way it is done, because as a course instructor, we are not involved in any of this administrative thing. So many students ask, no, so I could not submit my assignment. Can you help me out? We cannot do anything because as an instructor, we don't have any control over any of this administrative part of this course. So it is centrally, controlled by IIT Madras team, where NPTEL, the main center of NPTEL is there. And then locally, all the IITs also have their local centers, but the main center is IIT Madras. So all these deadlines and everything is actually controlled by IIT Madras team. And so generally this examination conduct, I think, so you will have to go to a particular center. So there will be proctored exams. So there will be invigilated exam. But you have to do it in an online format because it will be like, like through computers and so on. So you will be allotted a center. I think you might have given some choice also. So based on that, I think you will get a center and you have to go there, and I think, so there will be proctored exam, and everything will be written in the hall ticket, I guess. So I think you will know. But I think examination center choice is given by you only. So based on those choices, I think one of that will be assigned to you and so on. So I hope you have at least learned something out of this course. So the basic idea was to give you a glimpse of this positive psychology and some glimpse of how can we apply it. So obviously, it's just 12 module course. We cannot discuss in a very elaborate way all the topics. There is a limitation. Further, a lot of all these lectures were recorded in without any student in front of me. So video recording of a lecture without student is, you can understand, it's not it becomes very monotonous kind of lecture. So there's a limitation in that context. All these NPTEL lectures are just I'm going there and recording without any audience. So when we do a live class, student will ask questions, then you have to clarify things, and in that sense, a lot of lectures become much rich. But most of these video lectures may be very monotonous in that sense because there is no audience there. So that is why some live sessions are given so that we can interact with each other. So it is a small attempt to give a glimpse of some of the basic concept of this course and some idea how we can apply them in certain different contexts like workplace and so on. So if you are interested more, let's say interested into this subject, you can obviously expand your knowledge. You can go read more about it. You can read research articles and so on. I think content is not a problem nowadays. You can get any content you want on a just click. So if you're interested in any, let's say some of the aspects or one aspect, go read more and try to understand. And you can just enrich your knowledge for your own life also. So it need not be like you have to apply it to your profession. If your profession requires some of this knowledge, then it is very good. Even if it doesn't require it, you can use it for your own benefit also. So Nagabhushan ji is asking, give your email ID. So my email ID is, I'm just writing it. You can find my email ID and my everything in the IITG website. There's a department called Humanities and Social Science. Under this, you can see the faculty's name and their details and so on. but I'm giving it here. So I have a few more courses also, NPTEL courses. Like next semester, I will have 2 courses. One will be on personality, another will be on psychology of emotion. So they're also basically so we'll focus on different aspects of psychology. So like this, if you're interested, you can also take some of these courses. So their focus will be a little bit more. I have another course that will be floated after this. So every semester you cannot repeat the courses. So this course cannot be floated in the next semester.
Okay.
So there is another course called Psychology of Health and Adjustment. So there is also some overlap with this course. In some positive psychology topics are there also, but that course deals mostly with the concept of this concept of stress and coping strategies, management part of it, constructive coping, maladaptive coping. Then also we talked about some part of happiness part of it also, well-being part of it also. So that's the kind of mix of how to understand adjustment, stress, and then connected with the well-being concepts also. So generally that course has a lot of takers of that course. The number of students are very high. But this course is like very specific to only positive psychology. That has this stress, emotions, and management part, and all this part are additional to this. So all these courses are generally floated in the semesters. If you are more interested, you can always look into those courses.
Psychology and emotions, you said one course, right? That will cover positive psychology, or it will be negative, positive, both?
So that course has a mix of both actually.
Okay.
So we'll talk about stress, emotional problems, and so on. Then we'll talk about how to deal with them in terms of evidence-based strategies. So there are like maladaptive coping strategies, there are adaptive coping strategies. So we'll talk about all these like problems and emotional issues and stress-related issues in the first part of the course. And then we talk like how to deal with them, with the different strategies and so on. Like all the evidence-based strategies, not like motivational speaker I talking here. Like what are the research-based, evidence-based coping strategies that actually has a sustainable effect and so on. And that course also has some positive psychology concept. Mostly we focused on well-being and happiness part also, which may have some overlap with these courses. But a large part of it actually focused on stress, emotional problems, and then how to deal with that. So that is the major part of it. Professor Amit is asking, EMDR, self-compassion, etc. can work. So in what context you are asking? Compassion and everything can work. In what context? I mean, it can work for your life, in general life also, in a therapy context also, in every. So I mean, if you can give me more context, I will be able to talk about it. For attachment making style secured, I am not able to understand your question. What is your question? So let's understand. Somebody is icon. I think saying thank you, sir, for all the efforts and much meaningful course. I'm a student of MA education, and this is my first course, and I'm glad that I would love to read. Thank you. I'm happy that it is actually, at least we're getting something out of it. Yeah. So, okay, I think, I hope, I mean, this is just a beginning of your knowledge about this positive psychology.
Sir, is there any plan of publishing a book generally on other courses in NPTEL at the end of the course after the second year, after the first year? This is first year, I think this is for this course. Second year onwards, they publish the book, sir. Any plan to publish the book?
I don't know, but they generally, I think, in all the lecture transcript, they like transcript of all the lecture they take. Like initially machine does it, then they ask us to connect and so on. And all this transcript, I think they put it in the portal. And I think that kind of becomes like a book, but I don't know we can call it as a book or not. Because when you write a formal book, obviously the language and other thing can be very different. And when you just take transcript of a lecture, obviously the language is not so formal and so on. So, but not as a book as such, but I think all the lecture transcript, they put it in the book format also, I think. So, but not like proper book-wise, I think there nothing is planned officially from the NPTEL side.
Generally, sir, other courses, what I did, they published the book in English with all the timestamp and the embedded slides that are there in the presentation of the video, and they translate into different languages and post in the NPTEL site free of cost.
I don't know. So this NPTEL, they had planned to publish it in the different languages also. I don't know. I cannot see this thing happening with my courses. So I think they may be doing with some engineering courses, starting with the engineering courses, probably. I don't know. But slowly they will do with all the courses, maybe. I don't know. So but they have a plan to publish it with multiple languages and so on. And book thing may be also in the plan, but they may be doing it phase-wise, probably, I think. So my course, I think I have not got any notice regarding this. But for multiple language, they have planned. They are planning to do it in multiple language. But that is, I think they have started with some courses. Probably, I think, obviously, they will start with engineering courses. Then it will happen with other courses also. Okay, so I think if we don't have any more questions, we can stop here. So all the best.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much.
I hope we'll meet again in some other courses.
Yes, sir.
Sure, definitely a more psychological course.
This time I'm very happy, actually. Most of it participated by the students. So it shows that they're interested in the subject itself. So then we also get a lot of motivation. So I'm happy at least this time a lot of participation has happened in the live session. So all the best for your examination, and
thank you.
We'll see you, meet again sometime in some courses maybe.
Very useful subject, sir. Thanks for making it possible. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much, sir. Sir, I have emailed you on your email ID.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.